will the Yankees ever score a run again? It just kind of feels, I don't know what it feels like right now. Sitting here after watching that 11-inning game between the Yankees and the Angels. Angels win 1-0 in 11. Just missed opportunities, disappointment, squandering opportunities on the base pass, squandering. I don't even know what to say at this point. The Yankees have now gone 20 consecutive innings without scoring. They only have 5 runs over their last 49 innings in total. And for the first time all season, the Yankees have now lost 4 games in a row. And we talked about on Monday's show about how this series and the next one with Baltimore here at home was going to be kind of a pivot point series in the season. Would this go like the Junes of the last couple of years have gone, or would the Yankees quickly get back on track and kind of show that their issues with the Red Sox and obviously the Dodgers were just blips on the radar? Well, not exactly inspiring a lot of confidence with this output. And it's disappointing because you got an amazing start from Clark Schmidt, who goes 7 2/3 innings and allows 4 hits, no walks, only 3 strikeouts. He's now got 13 2/3 consecutive scoreless innings, and he's got 3 of his last 4 outings have gone at least 6 innings and allowed exactly 0 runs. And he has pitched very well here, and it was all for naught. And, you could look at, Jonathan Loaizaga a little bit shaky in the 11th in the second inning of work, but the reality is the Angels scored 1 run in 11 innings. Like, I'm not going to sit here and talk about any pitcher not doing their job, whether it was Fernando Cruz for this 1 out, Devin Williams, Jonathan Loaizaga, Clark Schmidt, obviously, who just talked about with the amazing start. It's just not acceptable the way this offense has been operating right now. The Yankees get 8 hits and a walk in this game, and then obviously Judge got intentionally walked twice. So the Yankees had 11 base runners in those 11 innings, kind of just picking here and there, but they had bases loaded at one point in the 11th, and they also thought earlier with runners on first and second and Cody Bellinger up, it looked like he hit a 3-run home run to win the game, and it just, combination of the wind and the rain, it just fell a little short of that right field wall, and it's just the Yankees aren't doing the little things well now, and I think it's really evident when you watch them in extra innings, whether it was against Boston or whether it was here against LA. They're just not doing the little things well, and the offense in general is just not stringing things together. It's not like there were a ton of bad at-bats today. Although I would argue the very bottom of the lineup, was tough to watch at times. Volpe ends up getting the final out, but Volpe, Wells, and LeMahieu did not look good tonight. But, Jazz gets 3 hits, including, 2 and got lucky in that 3rd hit in the 11th. We'll talk about Stanton in a second in his return. Bellinger went 0 for 5, but had some decent at-bats. Judge went 1 for 3 and was intentionally walked twice. Ben Rice had a hit. Trent Grisham had a hit. It's not that any one individual performance was bad. It's just this is not a team that's stringing anything together right now. And they're getting the pitching. We mentioned that, in those last, whatever it was, 49 innings where they've only scored 5 runs. In that same period of time, I think it actually, they've also only allowed 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9 runs. They're like 50-ish innings. That ain't bad. That ain't bad at all. Like, they're getting what they need out of their pitching staff. This is an offensive issue right now. And not to make a pun, but I will. It's offensive. Like, I sat and watched every pitch of this game. And for those of you that watched every pitch of the game that are also listening to this podcast right now, you know what I'm talking about. Just boring at-bats. Boring effort. rarely did you feel like there were some moments, there were some balls that were hit pretty well. There were some moments in extra, the Goldschmidt fly out, the Bellinger fly out, like both those ones, fell. By the way, that Goldschmidt fly out in the 10th inning, that if it fell or obviously went over the wall would have won the game. 850 expected batting average on that, by the way. 850 to dead center. But was not meant to be, and the Yankees continue to struggle offensively, and they got to fix this. These last few years, this stretch, this time of the calendar, this time of the season has been a nightmare for New York as of late. It was bad last year, despite their great hot start, and despite the fact that they rebounded and went to the World Series. This was a bad time of the schedule for them last year, and it's proving to be a bad time again here, and the offense needs to wake up. And it's everybody. Everybody is to blame here a little bit. What's the solution? I don't know right now. You're obviously going to have some lineup changes now that Stanton is back. You're going to have certain guys that start, certain guys that don't. In this game, it was Goldschmidt and Dominguez who were on the bench in favor of Rice and Stanton. Depending on the matchups throughout these games and depending on, who's played how many days in a row, we'll see that change up a little bit. But they just need more. They need more competitive at-bats across the board. Like I said, I don't feel like they're being overpowered. It just feels sluggish. But it's now starting to be an issue. You're now starting to pull this together in a handful of games, and you got to break out of this. As far as Stanton goes, he looked really good in this game. He ends up going 2 for 4, single, double, a ground out, and a strikeout. Hit the ball really hard, had 101.5 mile an hour ground out, 111.1 mile an hour single, and 102.9 mile an hour double. In the 3 balls he hit tonight, he also had a strikeout. But thought he looked really solid. The bat speed was right where it should have been, was making hard contact. He wasn't flailing at pitches. Really looked like mid-season form. Obviously, it's just one game. It's just 4 at-bats, but really encouraging to see. I know the Yankees took their time with him intentionally to hope that they would come back into the lineup not only fully healthy, but fully ready to be an impact bat in the middle of that lineup. Batted 5th on Monday night, and he looked good. And I think that would be the bright spot you take away from this effort. But overall, we just need more offensively. And they need it from the guys that are here. And, they've been able to have stretches where they've scored a lot and they've relied a lot on big innings, and, you're not going to complain. But you start to look at what this lineup is for the Yankees, and all of a sudden there's a lot of guys that just aren't hitting right now. Trent Grisham's down to 243. Ben Rice, I know he's been unlucky, but he's down to 229. Bellinger's under 250. Jazz has actually been hitting since coming off, so I'm not talking about Volpe's about 240 right now. Austin Wells is down to 220. DJ LeMahieu, a couple games, is down to 250. So, you're starting to see a overall strength of this team. The fact that you saw how many times you would see the graphic of all 9 guys in the starting lineup having a positive WRC plus or positive OPS plus. It's starting to come back down to earth for a lot of these guys. There's plenty of time to break out of it, to shake it, but it's becoming a problem, and it's become even more of a problem when what happened in this series, what happened the last time the Yankees played the Angels, where Ron Washington takes the bat out of Judge's hands a lot late. And we saw him do so here in some pretty critical situations, by the way. He walked Aaron Judge to open the 8th inning. He put the go-ahead run in a 0-0 game with no outs on in the 8th inning, and he put the winning run in a 1-0 game in the bottom of the 11th inning on with 0 outs. And forced the other Yankees bats to beat them, and they didn't. And it's not good. From DJ not being able to get bunts down. There's a lot that goes into it. We don't need to go into the minutia. This game was not worth going into the minutia of. But better effort is needed immediately. And hopefully the Yankees, 24 hours from the time that game ended, they have another 7:05 Eastern start time. Will Warren against Kyle Hendricks. Hendricks has not been particularly strong this year. He's given up at least 3 earned runs in all but 2 of his starts since April 13th. So dating back to the Houston starts, I'm going to go back from April and then work forward. He's given up 5 runs, 3 runs, 7 runs, 1, 3, 3, 4, 3, 4, 4, 2. So his ERA for the season is currently sitting at 5.20 through 71 innings. So this is an opportunity, in theory, for the Yankees to have some success here against Kyle Hendricks. Doesn't have overwhelming stuff. Just doesn't, and it isn't as pinpoint accurate as he was earlier in his career. So this is an opportunity for the Yankees to kind of right the ship here, and they need to do so quickly, and they need to do so with some big efforts with the bat. And we will hope that they're able to do that, and we will break it down here on the Bombers Beat podcast. But I told you I wasn't too worried after the Boston series, and this is only one more game, and so I'm not going to push the worry meter too far. But now my eyebrows are raised, and I have some legitimate concerns right now. I will say this, though, before we sign off. It is encouraging how well the pitching has been. There are times when teams go into losing streaks or have poor efforts where the entire team is in disarray. That's a lot scarier than if it's one unit of the team that's in disarray. Right now, it's the Yankees' offense, but the pitching has been fine to great at times. I know that's not much of a consolation prize right now, but the Yankees can turn this around, but they just need to do it quickly because they're allowing the Rays. You know, you look up now, and I believe the Rays are 3.5 games back now. So you're looking up, and all of a sudden, the Rays are hot, the Yankees are not, and we went from, sitting pretty, like, oh, we're going to have this huge lead, and we'll be able to coast through the summer. We've just got to play a little bit above 500, and you'll be able to coast to an AL East title. It does not look like that right now. It looks like you're going to be in a dogfight again. And you have not played your own division well, and you've got plenty of divisional games coming up. So we'll see what happens, but this offense needs to get back on track, and it needs to start tonight against Kyle Hendricks and the Angels.